Welcome in, everyone. So happy to see everyone. You know, last week we had Mother's Day, and we had a beautiful, bright Mother's Day, and a lot of you, I think, were out playing in the sun. So it's great to see a full room. It's great to see all your happy faces. Our month of fierce living and loving, and awakening to that mystic within is what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for Delan to give us that definition of a mystic. I did some digging myself when I was thinking about this topic. And yes, being a mystic is essentially that having that direct experience with the divine. So what I know right now is that everybody in this room, we are all mystics. I don't think we'd be in this room otherwise. The trick is to awaken to your inner mystic and to have that conscious relationship. So that's what I'm going to dig into here. So mystics often seek to understand these deeper truths. I don't know about you, but I have always been a seeker. I've always wanted to understand deeper what it means to have a relationship with the one, with the divine, with God, with whatever you call it. That's just the way I've always been. Even though when I was this big, I went to synagogues and they spoke in Hebrew and I had no idea what they were saying. No idea. But there was something fascinating. The rituals were fascinating. When they opened the ark and they brought out the Torah, I was fascinated, but I didn't know what they were saying, what the prayers were saying. So I'm so grateful to have found science of mind and be able to put a structure to what was going on within my heart all those years. So I believe that a mystical person who seeks the knowledge of God or spirit or whatever you call it, does so through the things that we teach here. Meditation, prayer, connection, service, all those practices that we talk about here, that's how we seek to know ourselves as mystics. So I also believe that the mysticism that we really find and bump into are through everyday life situations, challenges, joys, griefs, whatever happens in our life. That's what's really causing us to be a deeper mystic, is all these things happening in our lives. So I know for myself this. When I've had some of the hardest times in my life, when I've gone through changing jobs, getting laid off, when I've gone through breakups, upsets, divorces, yes, plural. When I've gone through these things in my life, those are the times in my life that I have expanded the most, that I've gotten to know myself the most. See, we can't go deeper into who we are unless these things occur. Now, I'm not saying that we want to create drama and conflict. It just kind of comes with life. We don't have to create it. It's there. Life is always lifing, right? That's what I'm saying. I bumped into this mystic when I was doing some research the other day, and her name is Sean Caudry. And she is a visionary thinker, navigating the transformative, epic times of this modern history. She's got a keen awareness of these seismic shifts that are defining our times. Sean explores the transitional phase between ending an era and creating a new dawn. Is that what's going on right now? And I know that it was me being having a mystical experience by bumping into her. She actually just lives in Colorado. She's originally from South Africa. She's got an MBA. She does coaching. But she has this website called The Modern Day Mystic. That's right. So I just thought that she had a unique perspective and way of teaching. And I listened to some of her podcasts. And what I heard was that a modern day mystic is really an ordinary individual, just like us. That we accomplish extraordinary things without even knowing it. You know, it's like those times when I said yes to riding my bike from San Francisco to Los Angeles. I did it 4 times. When I did that, I wasn't, thinking I'm doing this to be a mystic. I just knew it was calling me. To do that ride was calling me. And what happened was the people that I invited to tell them the story of my ride, they became avid supporters of this ride. To the point where it changed their lives. And I had no idea of it. I was just doing what I was called to do. See, ordinary lives are ordinary lives. The things we do on a day-to-day basis, when we go to the store, when we interact with someone at the store, when we get on the phone with a customer service person, and we show up with kindness and compassion and love rather than, right? Even if something is going wacky. Even when we have friends and loved ones and family members that might think differently about things that are going on, when we love each other, when we stay kind to each other, when we make sure that the first and foremost thing we do is we support each other in being human in this divine life that we get to lead. So, I know that what she's talking about is exactly what Science of Mind teaches us in this room. So, something that she also talked about really caught my attention. She said, there's a distinct difference between purpose and calling. Now, I know that my purpose has changed throughout the years. Like those AIDS life cycle years. I decided that my purpose was to be a training ride leader. I don't know what I was thinking because I'm not a fast rider, but I knew that I wanted to encourage and inspire the other riders that were not fast riders, and that was mine to do. So I started a group at CSL San Jose called the God Squad. We were the God Squad. I took that Geek Squad logo and I put God Squad in there. It was great. We had our jerseys. We had a big group of riders, and we went out there together as a community and we rode. That was my purpose. Yes, at the end of riding it for 4 times and being a training ride leader, I knew it was my time to kind of hang that purpose up. Now, I'll always support them. In fact, wow, this is the last year of the ride. It's been going on for 31 years. California AIDS ride and then AIDS life cycle, because things have changed. Budget cuts and things like that. This is the last year, so every time I see a Facebook friend that shouts out and says, oh, I need more money to ride, I've been sending them money so that I can support them and make sure that they get to get on their bike and pedal to Los Angeles. So purpose is sometimes different for different reasons, different for different seasons. You just want to pay attention to that. But here is the difference with a calling. A calling, on the other hand, is an intense ask on your life. A calling is like showing up, saying yes, being visible, writing to your congressman, being out there at those peace marches. A calling is a place of healing for the collective. Feel the difference. Purpose, personal. Purpose, what's mine to do. Calling is something so much bigger than me. That's why sometimes a calling can be so scary. Sometimes I wake up and I wake up with this joy of what I get to do today in my ministry. And sometimes I wake up and I have a little shudder of concern of what I get to do today in my ministry. That's how I know it's a calling. If life was always easy, if we were always going down this road that was easy and filled with all those little daisies, although daisies are great, and we never hit a roadblock, a pothole, a speed bump, then we can't grow, we can't expand, we can't know the strength of us. We can't be aware and awakened to the mystic that is within. So I go back to that. Those things in your life that maybe you're still sitting here thinking, I wish that never happened. I wish that job never ended. I wish I never moved. I wish that person never left. I wish I never got diagnosed. What if we woke up every day and knew the universe is truly for us? That these things that sometimes we wish away are here for our good, for our expansion, for our growth, for our awakening to know ourselves as modern day mystics. You see, it's those stories in the news that catch our attention. It's those things that happen in our lives that cause that calling to pull us. Always pay attention. If you're one of those people that either A, doesn't watch the news anymore because it's just too much, and that's fine, or B, you watch it in limited quantities so you just know what's going on, but every time you watch it, you just end up being full of angst. Or C, you can't live without it. I've been in some of those kind of homes where it's always on. CNN, constant negative news. It's always on, right? So if you're one of those people, then you want to pay attention to what is yours to do about what you're hearing. There's always things that we can do in our lives. And it just takes one of us, and then another one of us, and another one of us for a big snowball reaction to happen. If we all sit back and decide it's someone else's to do, it's not going to get done. Now, I'm not saying that to go out there and march if that's not your cup of tea. Yeah, uh-oh. But if it's yours to do, you can sit down and write a letter. You can find a group in Utah that supports what you also support and be in community with them. So, I want to say this. All of the modern day mystics that I know come from a place of humility. Because it's not an ego-driven place to come from. If I bump into someone that is, very wants my ear to tell me how many things they've done and how good they are, I'm like, okay, that's great, Where's that coming from? It's the things we do that we don't get recognized for on a daily basis, the way we show up. Those things that make that powerful difference. So the modern day mystic feels their call into action amongst all humanity. It's not about meditating on the mountain, although that's nice. Sometimes we just want to be that Buddha under the tree. But what's ours to do is to be in this life. The life that we've been given exactly the way it is. And exactly the way it's not. Being awakened means accepting what is ours. With all the greatness and all the joys and all the grief and all the challenges, exactly the way it is, and moving on from there. I had a ministerial teacher who reminded our class over and over again, your mess is your message. Whatever feels messy in your life is there for you to overcome it in such a beautiful way that you can help support other people overcome it too. And I'm not saying overcome it in the way of resisting it or pushing it away. I'm saying overcome it. Look, we can't ignore what we hear on the news, or sometimes we do, but finding that sweet spot of peace in my heart when the world feels chaotic, that's mine to do. That's mine to do. So I have this reading from Malidoma Somé. He's an African mystic. He says, whether we are raised in indigenous or modern culture, there are two things that people crave: the full realization of their innate gifts, and to have these gifts approved, acknowledged, and confirmed. There are countless people in the West whose efforts are sadly wasted because they have no means of expressing their unique genius. In the psyches of such people, there is inner power and authority that fails to shine because the world around them is blind to it. What I'm saying is that that's not what this place is. I want you to express your unique gifts here at our center. I can't do what Jackie does. I can't do what Dawn does. I can't do what Ruth does. We each have our own unique gifts, and that's why we're all here together. So we must awaken to what calls us through our unique gifts. From Matthew Fox, in his writings, The Coming of the Christ, the Cosmic Christ, he says, the mystic in us, the one moved to radical is the one moved by radical amazement, by the awe of things. Awe is the beginning of wisdom. What gives you awe? He goes on to say the awakening of the mystic in our time means that many more wells are being sunk in the wet, creative, greening powers of the one underground river. Ooh, I love that. We're all part of that one underground river. The cosmic Christ, the pattern that connects, can connect all persons in the context of sacredness. So how do we awaken? We meditate. But there's so many different kinds of meditation. You can just go for a walk in nature. That's a meditation. You can do the dishes. That's a meditation. You can be brushing your teeth. That's a meditation. If we do these things mindfully, it can all be a meditation. Yes, I do recommend sitting. 5 minutes to 30 minutes and meditating either silently or guided or whatever works for you. But there's so many moments in a day that we can be mindful and think of that as a meditation. The other thing is, like I said, notice what's calling you into action. Take a small step. Take a big step. Volunteer. Be in service. Another way to awaken is to be in prayer. Prayer without ceasing. I know we've all heard that term. It's not about constantly being in verbal prayer, but rather a continuous state of prayerful awareness, depending on God, Spirit, oneness, a heart filled with gratitude. That's being in prayer. It's about cultivating and deepening a relationship with the One so that it permeates every part of your life. That's praying without ceasing. I know many people in this room pray without ceasing. That's what our lives are all about. The last one is be in community. Take classes. Sign up for those food, fun, and friend events. Ooh, and today, don't miss Pray Harmony. You're not going to want to miss this. Teresa and Myrna are absolutely modern day mystics, and they've got things to teach us about Pray Harmony. Because these are crazy and chaotic, thank you. Didn't want to come out. Times. So we don't want to pray for, we want to pray it into being. If we pray for, it's like saying it's not there. We want to pray harmony now. We want to pray abundance now. We want to pray health now. So don't miss that today. I'm going to end with a quote from Teresa of Avila. You all know my love of Teresa of Avila. This is from The Interior Castle. So close your eyes and listen to this. There is a secret place, a radiant sanctuary, constructed of the purest elements, overflowing with the 10,000 beautiful things. Worlds within worlds, forests, rivers, velvet coverlets thrown over feather beds, fountains bubbling beneath a canopy of stars, beautiful forests, universal libraries, a clarity so complete that you will never again forget. The magnificent refuge is inside you. Enter. Let's pray. So just staying inside that beautiful refuge inside you. The modern day mystics that we are right here in our hearts. They're not outside in a book or some other person. They're right here, and I'm grateful to know this. I'm grateful for this mystical community. I'm grateful for this beautiful day of rain that's giving all the trees and buds and leaves and plants the hydration they need to grow big and strong. I am grateful for Ernest Holmes and all these modern day mystics that we've been talking about. Emma Curtis Hopkins and Teresa of Avila and Mirabai Starr and Sean Caudry and all these beautiful women mystics that we're talking about this month. How grateful I am for this community and how we show up for each other, how we love each other, how we show kindness for each other, how we encourage each other to be the best, brightest selves that are being calling into being with their purpose, with their calling, with their passions. I am most grateful to know there is only one power, one presence, one love. Doesn't matter what you call it. It might be Spirit, Yeshua, the way, God, oneness, the universe. So many names and yet only one, in and through everything, every raindrop, every snowflake, every leaf on every tree, every animal, every sentient being, every planet, just everywhere. Omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, omniconsciousness, omni-love. Every moment of every day. Because I know that is what is happening here in this time of prayer. I claim and know for each of us that are going through whatever we're going through, whether it's with joys of changes in our lives or challenges with changes in our lives, with new diagnoses, with the loss of loved ones, with moving, with changing jobs, with all these things that happen when life is lifing. I know that because we know we are one with the one, that we're never alone in all of these things that are occurring. That right now in this instant you are being carried through the grief. You're being carried through the changes. You are being carried through the challenges. You are being carried by this presence that is never absent. And I claim and know for us in this room that are concerned about the political climate, the wars, the challenges that feel like they're happening in democracy, that this too is the breaking down of what no longer serves us so that we can have a dawn of a new day in a new way. That's what's happening here. That's what I know for each one of us, that we hold this joy and peace in our heart. We hold that kindness and love in our heart that nothing can outpicture, that is less than love, if that's who we are, and that is who we are, right here, right now, every moment of every day. We are modern day mystics here, sitting in this room, watching online, listening to this later. That's who we are. We are awakened to this knowledge. We remember it, we remember it, we remember it. And now I give you a moment of time to say your name and the names of your loved ones that are wanting prayer on this day. And you can do it silently or say it out loud. Yes, yes, yes. It doesn't matter if you say it silently, whisper it, or shout it out. The universe hears you. Our birthright is not just to be heard, but to be supported in every possible way. And right in this moment, that's what I know is happening. And that's what I'm grateful for and thankful for. Answered prayer, whether it comes through lightly and subtly, or whether it comes through bigly and boldly and loudly, it's happening now in this instant. So with gratitude, I release it into the laws that we know and love and study around here, knowing that it only works 24/7, 365, never not. So as we release it on that human realm into the spiritual, magnificent field that we've created of prayer, we let it go by letting our hands off the wheel, surrendering, knowing that is done, and it's done now. And we anchor this by saying together, and so it is. Amen. Ashe.